Hey everybody, I'm Dr. Richard Stevenson and I'm the Director of Education at Stevenson Dental Solutions. I'm also Emeritus Professor of Clinical Dentistry at UCLA. And this is our teaching center where we conduct many hands-on courses all year long. And today we're going to talk about the large occlusal filling using the Composite Mastery Instrument Kit, which I'm showing here, which has a total of 7 instruments. And I think it's really helpful for performing these. Now I've just done a quick preparation that's a little bit large to simulate maybe replacing an old amalgam on a tooth, and we use our bonding agent and then immediately go into the placement of increments using the paddle pusher and the triangular ridge developer. And the key with this initial layering is to keep these rather steep. Now again, the paddle pusher being used again to lay in another increment. And I usually pick a dentin shade in this situation, or maybe a body shade. But the key is to make them very steep and to only focus on one area at a time, and that way you can maintain the notion of a triangular ridge rather than putting a lot in at once and having the buccal side move while you're trying to create the lingual side. It gets kind of frustrating. By adding the increments like this, it's really cool from a standpoint of minimizing post-operative stresses in the composite. We can cut down on the C factor negative impact, and we can also develop really nice anatomy as we go. And it's just makes it easier when it comes to removing the rubber dam and adjusting occlusion. You spend a lot less time with the post-operative grinding phase that so many of us have locked ourselves into when we use a bulk fill or we try to do one increment. So notice that these paddle pusher condenser instruments come in 3 different sizes. They allow you to make small additions or larger additions. This is the groove maker, and this is the small side of the groove maker. And I want to show you after I cure here just how steep these initial increments are. Very, very steep and under contoured on purpose. Now at this stage of the game, if you're into placing stains in the fissures and things like that, this would be the time to do it. I'm showing it here in a rather crude manner just to show you that you can use these tints, opaquers to create some effects. If this is something that you would like to do, this is the time to do it before you put on the enamel layer. One of the mistakes people make is they put these stains on in the enamel as a surface stain, and that's really not going to benefit the patient very much because you'll be polishing those away. So if you want to have stains to benefit the patient's aesthetic desires, that they want to have a tooth that looks like it almost needs a sealant, then I would recommend that you not place this in the enamel phase, but place this here at the dentin phase. And you can see I'm just cleaning up with a micro brush and then leaving behind the fissured stains. You definitely want to light cure these and then sandwich them in with more composite. And we're moving on to the enamel at this point. The enamel is going to be more translucent, and you can use either a milky white type of enamel or some kind of opalescent enamel. Clear type of colors usually work pretty well. And a lot of people think, oh man, this is just so much work. It takes so much time to lay in all of these layers. And in this case, I'm putting a little bit of opaquers to create a little bit of an effect. But I think that's not true at all, because consider the big picture. When you incrementally layer your composite, you not only are able to make the composite look more like a tooth, you're going to cut down on postoperative sensitivity issues, which can plague your practice with unplanned visits, non-productive visits. And then your delivery of the composite can be really rapid. You're not going to spend time adjusting the occlusion and doing a lot of excess polishing because you really don't need to do much of that. You don't have a large amount of composite that goes beyond the finish line. You also are going to find that your occlusion is going to be quite easy to adjust. So, we can put in a lot of microanatomy at this point if we want. This is the TR instrument, which is really great for a lot of things. And it's probably my most favorite instrument when it comes to the morphology making aspects of it. And you can create these types of effects, and if you have some under-contoured areas, you can use a highly translucent enamel at this point to fill in any areas that you think were under-contoured. This is a fossa maker. This kit that I've put together it's taken me decades to design. And each one of these instruments has a very specific intended purpose. In our courses, we go over the use of this instrument kit in detail. And all of our course participants in the composite courses get to take one of these kits home with them, which is a pretty cool deal. And here I am kind of wrapping it up, maybe putting in the final little increment. And it really doesn't take much longer than this video to make a composite like this. And if you don't put any of the tints and opacers, it can be even faster. And just little translucent, almost a completely clear type of enamel on top. And I've made no effort to match this plastic tooth. I'm just showing you how these instruments can work together to create a decent final result. And you can really have a lot of fun and be creative in the situation that you're in your practice. And I don't think there's anything wrong with just using one shade, as long as you place it incrementally in order to create these groove effects and this morphology that will be reasonably natural and not require a lot of adjustment.